All right, welcome back to the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. Unlike the Pirates, the Penguins have been buyers the last few years, and one of the guys they bought was Phil Kessel, but it looks like he's going to be staying here for at least this year. Rutherford said that they're not looking to trade him right now. He's an important part of the team. Now, some coaching changes also. Rick Tocchet is gone. Mark Recchi is in. Jason Mackey. All three of these, Kessel, the coaching changes, will it have any effect on the Penguins this year on the ice?
No. There's a lot to unpack with that, Rich, but let me go through these things one by one. Phil Kessel, it makes zero sense to trade him right now. The reason being he's coming off 23 goals. He hasn't scored that few in a season, I believe, since 2007, 2008 when he was with Boston. You're selling an asset at one of its lowest points. Let him play, tell him to shoot, have him score more, then maybe next season you trade him. And that allows Daniel Sprong and Zach Aston-Reese to get a little bit of time for them to develop in the minors, and then you can make a move. Makes no sense to do it now. As for Rick Tocchet leaving, Mark Recchi coming in, I don't think it'll have a big impact. I think Rick Tocchet was a really, really important part of this coaching staff, but I don't think the entire organization is going to crumble just because one assistant coach left. I don't understand people freaking out about Rick Tocchet, Phil Kessel's babysitter. He held Phil's hand in line for lunch. Whatever the reasoning was behind this stuff. Yeah, come on. It's an assistant hockey coach. He didn't perform surgery. They'll be fine.
I have to say a bunch of different things here. Remember when Mike Johnston was here and Rick Tocchet was kind of persona non grata? He was the spy for the front office, and is Rick Tocchet a good fit? Funny how Sully changed that. This is lunacy, by the way, this Kessel stuff. Because we all made fun of Steve Simmons when he wrote up all these hit pieces in Toronto and helped run Kessel out of town, allegedly. Everyone here too happy to get him. Oh, this is a great fit. All they've done is win 2 cups, and now all you're hearing is that without his babysitter, Phil Kessel is suddenly going to become a malcontent that they can't handle. It sounds like Phil Kessel, what he needs to get through to him is a former player and a guy whose voice he respects because he might have played somewhat recently. He played with Mark Recchi. He's going to be fine. If you're going to trade him, wait till you see if you can three-peat, and then trade him if he has a 45-goal season, if you're so desperate to get rid of him before he outlives his sell-by date, which is absurd.
As it relates to Recchi versus Tocchet handling Kessel, if he can't go from Tocchet to Recchi as a coach that he will listen to, that's more indicting of Phil Kessel than it is of Mark Recchi's ability to fill the shoes of Rick Tocchet. Let's say that first and foremost. Secondly, on Kessel as a guy or a person in your locker room, I've always had one standing pat phrase for Phil Kessel, which is, it's not fair to say that Kessel hasn't done enough as a Pittsburgh Penguin. I do think it's fair to ask him to do more. And maybe part of that more is being coached more easily. Like, for instance, you talked about it, Jason, the low in goals this year of 23. If I came to you and said Phil Kessel's going to score 49 goals as a Penguin, you would say, great, which season of the first 2? Well, it's been total so far during the regular season, but almost a point per game in the postseason. Trading Kessel right now, in my opinion, would be dumb. Although I will say this, Jason, to your earlier point, I don't know if he would really be getting the lowest value on that market that you discussed, because I don't think outside of Pittsburgh this whole, oh my God, the personal handler of Phil Kessel gone thing was talked about anywhere else besides Pittsburgh. I think outside in the other hockey circles and other markets, people were saying, hey, Kessel figured it out in Pittsburgh. Maybe he can be coached here too.
I'm just astonished.
First of all, no one's taking that salary on. They're not going to be able to dump that $6.8 million where they have to pay for. I think he counts, what, $8 million? 6.8 against the cap.
But if the cap goes up eventually in another year or so, or somebody might find that more attractive, somebody might want to do that. I think it's, and people are calling this a media creation. You're the only ones talking about it. No, it's coming from people within the Penguins organization that are willing to say things at least off the record, even though Jim Rutherford kind of quashed it. It's amazing to me that there's such discontent with this guy because he's not a straightforward, like a put on your hat and be a soldier kind of guy that apparently Mike Sullivan might like. He's a little bit different. Who cares? If he scores goals, none of it matters. And he's doing that. He's at least producing points.
In the playoffs.
In the playoffs, which is all any Penguins fan should ever care about, because as long as 87 and 71 and 58 and now Matt Murray are there, they're going to be in the playoffs every year. You should just start your year in April and go from there.
And it's not that he's...
Before we go to break, I want to ask you, Jason, I'm in the locker room a lot, but you're in the locker room a lot more than I am. And I think Phil Kessel's a good locker room guy, despite what people say on the outside and fans being critical of him. I think he's a good person in that locker room with these guys.
Teammates love him, Rich. You can't say that enough. They would be crushed if this guy was gone. Now, it's not their job to care about it, but yeah, it would have an effect. And the issue with Kessel and an assistant coach, it isn't that he's difficult to coach or he's here, I guess, let me put it this way. Here's the issue with Kessel. He just likes to talk back to the coach. He likes to have a back and forth, and that's better done with an assistant coach as opposed to Mike Sullivan. If that happens every day with the head coach, you're going to have issues.
And it's not a media creation because even though no one's confirmed it, meaning Tocchet himself, Sullivan himself, or Rutherford himself, none of them denied it either, have they? And they've had multiple opportunities to do so when asked straightforwardly.
Well, you definitely can ask more from Kessel during the regular season, but he's been quite the postseason performer the last 2 seasons, so I think the Penguins will take that, especially having 2 cups and a chance to go for a third. Well, we got to take a break. Coming back after the break, we'll be talking about the Steelers. Le'Veon Bell, he's getting $12 million guaranteed for 1 year, and he has, what, about 15, 16 hours to try to get a long-term deal in. Will that happen? We'll try to figure that out and break it down, and if it should happen. Coming up next, stay right there.